Kyle Busch wins the Buschy McBusch. The Busch McBuschy. I think no, it was the Busch McBuschy. No, Kyle Busch wins the Buschy McBusch. The Busch McBusch. Kyle Busch won the damn race. Okay, there. Freaking tongue twisters and stuff. But anyway, other than a tongue twisting ending, this race was pretty decent. Kansas, is pretty basic. No big crashes this week, or this race at Kansas, so thank God. But we have another Kansas race, so watch out for that. But other than that, this race was pretty decent. And actually, I'm not going to drag on for too long. Let's go ahead and dive on into this episode. Hey guys, NASCAR Mobile for Day back again, and welcome back to another episode of NRR. And in today's video, we're going to be reviewing the 2021 Buschy McBusch Race 400 at Kansas Speedway. Finally, I got it right. Kyle Busch is able to win it. Coincidence? I don't think so. And Kevin Harvick, sponsor is Busch, finishes second. Just wow, a bunch of coincidences. And this race had its moments and stuff. Some of it dragged on. Some of the racing looked pretty good, like at the end of the stages and stuff, and at the end of the race too. But yeah, let's go ahead and dive on in. We're gonna review the top 10 as always, rate the race. We're also gonna be talking about drivers who did good and drivers that did not do so well, and then we're gonna wrap it up from there. But yeah, let's go ahead and dive on into this video. Finishing first was Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch is able to win this race here at Kansas. I believe it's his third win at Kansas, maybe his first win of the season, and his first win with his new crew chief Ben Bayshore. I still don't know how to pronounce his last name. Bayshore. I'm gonna say Bayshore. And then he was able to. He actually won the first stage of this race, and he did that at Kansas last year. He won the first stage, but didn't win the race. But this time he wins the race. He was not the best car, but he was definitely up there for the win, and definitely had a top 5 car. But Kyle Larson had that issue with Ryan Blaney. With 2 laps to go. I don't think it was over. I don't think they counted it as an overtime restart. But then Kyle Busch was just able to take the lead away. Didn't have to deal with Kyle Larson, and then really Marchix Jr. wasn't a threat to him, and Kevin Harvick just came out of nowhere, out of oblivion, and then just couldn't get up to Kyle Busch. If he had like another lap, he could have gone him. But still, Kyle Busch had a great race, and he won on his birthday. He becomes the second driver in NASCAR history to win on their birthday more than once, because Cale Yarborough did it, now Kyle Busch did it. I forgot the race where Kyle Busch first won on his birthday, but he does it again, just like Cale Yarborough and Matt Kenseth. He does have a win on his birthday, but not multiple wins. So I wonder who's going to be the next driver to do it. But still, Kyle Busch had a great race and stuff, so if you really think about it, I'll give you a good tongue twister right here. Birthday boy Busch wins the Buschy McBusch race. That's the best tongue twister I can think of, but I'm not gonna dwell on that too much. Still, decent day for Kyle Busch and the 18 team. Finishing second was Kevin Harvick, and his sponsor was Busch, that sponsored this Buschy McBusch crap and stuff. But still, and he was able to get a second place finish, so that's a huge coincidence, finishing behind Busch. Oh man, my head's gonna hurt later. I just can't wait for that. Anyway, Kevin Harvick definitely had a top 10 car all day. They were definitely running up there. I don't think they had like a race-winning car or a top 5 car. Well, it just depended and stuff. But that 4-tire stop that they made definitely paid off for them, so they could get a second place finish. So great job for Kevin Harvick and the Ford team and stuff. Like I said, if they would have had like another 1, maybe 2 lap finish to this race, like added another 1 to 2 laps, Kevin Harvick definitely could have won this race. Or if there was another caution, like if that Blaney spin, which he saved, which was very incredible, if that would have been a caution, Kevin Harvick could have definitely played a factor in becoming the winner of this race. It would have been an even bigger coincidence, since his sponsor's Busch, and then they decided to call it the Buschy McBusch race, so whatever. Still, Kevin Harvick was able to get a second place finish, so congrats to him, and a decent day for the 4 team. Finishing in second was Brad Keselowski. Brad Keselowski had the lead of this race because he started on the pole. he dominated, the first part of stage one, but then later Kyle Larson, they started to come in, and Keselowski started to fall back, and he couldn't really get back up there. He was starting to fall back into the top 10, and the top 5. He was still able to hang on to get a third place finish, so that's good for them. It's just that he's just not as good as the others. Still a decent day for Brad Keselowski, and nothing really else to say about him. They played a really good race, a smart race, got a top 5 and stuff coming off that a win at Talladega last week. So decent day for Keselowski and the 2 team, and we'll see what they can do at Darlington next week. Finishing in 4th was Matt DiBenedetto. Now, guys, hear me out. Matt DiBenedetto these last 3 races has been on a roll. Got his best finish of the year in Richmond, which was 9th. Then he got a better finish at Talladega at 5th, even though it was kind of a heartbreaker at the end, on the final lap. And then now he gets 4th, which is so far his best finish of the season, so that's good for them. 3 straight top 10s for them and stuff. They're just not finishing out or closing out the races, like trying to get the win. But they definitely ran pretty decent. They were in the top 10 earlier, then they fell back to like top 15 and stuff, but they were running up there. They definitely had a top 15 car. So congrats to them getting a 4th place finish. Still looking for their 100th win for the Wood Brothers, and Matt DiBenedetto, of course, looking for his first win with the Wood Brothers. So we'll see if that can happen, but so far things look pretty good for them. I'm not sure where they're in the playoffs. I don't think they're in the playoffs right now, but we'll just have to see, once things start to close in, when we're like, maybe for like 10 races before the playoffs, or 10 to 5 races until the playoffs start, I'll start adding the bracket of who is where in the playoffs that I did last season. So we'll just see, but still decent day for Matt DiBenedetto on the 21 team. Finishing in 5th was Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott definitely had a great race as well. Like, he ran the top 10, definitely had a top 10 car, definitely had the speed. Race-winning speed, I'm not sure. He wasn't as good as his teammate, Kyle Larson. And then he did make a charge on the last lap, but then kind of had a block with somebody. I think it was Matt DiBenedetto, where they kind of made contact in turn 2, and then Chase Elliott only ended up 5th. But still, decent day for Chase Elliott and the 9 car. Still looking for their first win of the season, as like his other 3 teammates, Larson, Byron, and Bowman, all 3 of them have a win. Chase Elliott does not, and he's the reigning series champion. So we'll see what Chase Elliott can do next time when we're going to Darlington, because he was great at Darlington last season, but then had that issue with Martrix Jr. with a few laps to go that gave up the win to Kevin Harvick. Dover, I'm not sure about Chase Elliott. He won at Dover before, but it's not really his best track, but he could win there. Now, Coda is definitely a track he's looking at. It's only, 2-3 weeks away, so watch out for him there. And Charlotte, he won at Charlotte last year. Not the 600, but he won a Charlotte race, so we'll see what Elliott can do. But still, decent day for Chase Elliott in the 19. We'll see what they can do next week at the Goodyear 400. Finishing 6th was Martrix Jr. Martrix Jr., nothing really significant to say about him. I mean, they definitely had like a top 15 car, I'd have to say. I mean, they weren't running in the top 10 that much in the first portion of this race, but then towards the later part of this race, he started to make his way into the top 10, like around 6th, 7th, maybe even 5th. He definitely was running pretty well, and then at the late part of the race, he did give a huge shove to the back of his teammate Kyle Busch on the restart, but still Truex couldn't catch him because he was not as good as his teammates, so that sucked for Truex. But he still has 2 wins this season, so that's good right now. But now we have 10 different winners, so we'll see what Martrix Jr. could do next week at Darlington, and hopefully he doesn't have to wreck someone to try to get the win. Finishing 7th was Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick definitely was one of the best drivers so far today. I mean, he was great in the first part of this race, and then apparently he started to fall off a bit, but he still was running pretty decently in the top 10, 7th, 8th, something like that. So he winds up with a 7th place finish. Definitely a decent day for them and the 8 team. Still looking for more, trying to get their first win of the season. I mean, he finished like 3rd in stage 1, 8th in stage 2, and just finishes 7th overall. Still decent day for Tyler Reddick and the 8 team. And really, this is like to be honest, this is their 2nd straight 7th place finish, because I remember they finished 7th at Talladega last week, and yet this is only their 5th top 10 of the year. They're only their 5th top 10, so let's see if they can make some things up. It's still a decent day for Reddick and the 8 team. Finishing in 8th was Chris Buescher. Chris Buescher really surprised me. I think he was definitely probably the most shocking driver in the top 10 today, because he was running in like 19th, 20th. He was running top 20 like at like 18th, 19th, or 20th or something. He definitely did not have the best car. He had a cool looking paint scheme though. I love like the light blue and the black and the white. That looks pretty cool. But still, he ran in like the top 20 all day and stuff, and then he just made a late charge, gets the 8th place finish, his second top 10 of the year, and that's not his best finish. His best finish was at, I think, Atlanta. He got like 7th, so whatever. Still, Buescher had a decent day, getting a top 10. That's pretty decent for them. I don't know where they are in the playoff standings and stuff, but I'll talk about like when I'm gonna add the playoff standings into the end of these NRR episodes. I'll tell you guys that at the end of this video. But still, decent day for Buescher in the 17 team. Actually, it was much of a comeback. Well, a semi-comeback, because they weren't really up front, but they, made a good late charge at the end. Finishing 9th is William Byron, guys. You just cannot make this stuff up. William Byron and Rudy Fugle, I just keep saying this week in, week out, these two are like the best pairing of driver and crew chief this season. Even though they only have one win, they're still having a hell of a year right now. This is Byron's best season yet. I mean, like I said, he won at Homestead, 8th at Las Vegas, 8th at Phoenix, 8th at Atlanta, 6th at Bristol Dirt, 4th at Martinsville, 7th at Richmond, and then he just finished 2nd in the runner-up position at Talladega, now gets a 9th place finish here at Kansas. That's 9 straight top 10 finishes. They could go for 10 at Darlington. They're decent at Darlington, but I'm not sure. But we could see something like that happen. But a great day for William Byron. They were going against Brad Keselowski, but then once Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, and Tyler Reddick came up, they started to fall back. And they were running in the top 15 or top 20 at one point, but then they able to make a bit of a comeback to get a top 10 finish. So decent day for them, and let's see what they can do next week at Darlington. And finally, finishing in 10th is Austin Dillon. If you really think about it, both RCR cars finished in the top 10 at Talladega last week, and they both finished in the top 10 this week at Kansas. At first, Austin Dillon wasn't running so good in this race. He was like top 15, top 20, and then he started to make a bit of a comeback and ran in the top 10 late in this race and able to get a 10th place finish, and that's actually his 3rd straight top 10 finish in a row since Richmond, so that's pretty good. A good charge by Austin Dillon. I think they're like 12th in the standings right now, so that's really good for them. Really high hopes for them. I hope they make the playoffs this year. Last year, I didn't want them to because Jimmy Johnson was not locked in, but now really I don't care. Bowman's already locked in, so Austin Dillon, go ahead and try to get yourself in the playoffs and stuff. So yeah, Austin Dillon gets a 10th, and they ran a decent race, and not really anything else to say, but yeah, decent day for Dillon and the 3 team. And now let's rate this race. This race, definitely had its moments. It had its dry moments and stuff. Kansas, it's a decent racetrack. I mean, the end of stage 1 was pretty exciting. Larson trying to get to Kyle Busch. The restart was pretty exciting. Just the racing and stuff, starting to get spread out. They weren't really that spread out, but it's Kansas and stuff, and you can't really say that much about it. I mean, because Kansas, it's not really the best mile-and-a-half racetrack in NASCAR history, because if we had to choose, Chicagoland hands down is the best mile-and-a-half racetrack, but we don't race there anymore, so it's a toss-up between Kansas or maybe even a Las Vegas. Texas and Atlanta, we don't talk about that. Charlotte's a decent track, but the worst one, don't get me started with Kentucky. I'm so glad Kentucky's not on the schedule anymore. Phew! Thank you. Anyway, I rate this race, it was decent. I give it like a 6.5 out of 10. I mean, it's Kansas. It's a mile-and-a-half racetrack. It was kind of boring and stuff, but it's just intermediates, and it's the package that they run. I want the 900 horsepower back. I mean, they had some pretty great racing. Not all the time, but most of the time they did. But now with the package that we have now, it's either yes or no. And stuff. But still, I give it a 6.5 out of 10. Let me know what you guys would give it in the comment section below. Now for the drivers who had a good day. Ross Chastain ran really well at the beginning. I think he even passed Denny Hamlin in stage 1, so that was pretty cool. And they got a 14th place finish, so it's a top 15, so that's pretty good for them. So I'll say Chastain had a good day. Same thing with Michael McDowell. He got a 13th place finish and stuff. So, and even though they finished 3rd, but that's still good for Front Row Motorsports, so I'll count them. Denny Hamlin, it's a toss-up. I say he did neutral, because, you know, at first he wasn't running so well. Then later in the race he ran pretty decent, but then Denny Hamlin, he hit the wall and stuff and fell back, and he had to restart like 19th or 20th, and he came back to get a 12th place finish, so that's decent. So I probably say that, but you know, Hamlin was all that bad luck from Talladega last week. That's starting to carry over to Kansas, so that's a bit of a concern. So hopefully he can do good at Darlington. Really, I just don't care. It just doesn't matter for me. But yeah, Denny Hamlin finishes 12th. So those are the drivers who I think did good and, you know, neutral and stuff. Now let's get to the bad, because we have a lot. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, Daniel Suarez had a great finish as well. He finished 11th, and he wasn't running that good earlier. So getting an 11th place finish, that's good for Daniel Suarez and Team Trackhouse. Now we'll move on to the drivers who did not have a good day. Now for the drivers who had a bad race. Kyle Larson to start off. He dominated and stuff. Won stage 2, led like 132 laps, something like that. But then at the end, you know, contact with Ryan Blaney just sent him in, Larson into the wall. Like, he scraped the wall. Best he could get was 19th place finish, so that really sucks, and it's a heartbreaker for Kyle Larson. Alex Bowman, he had some issues with the car and stuff. I don't know who's behind that stuff at for the 48 car. I bet they just need to fix it. Because if you have stuff like those problems like that in the playoffs, then you're not going to go far. Probably get eliminated after, like, 2 races, and there's 3 races in each round. So that really sucks. But and then he also spun, made contact with the wall, cut a tire, had to come down to pit road. So that really sucks for Alex Bowman. Hopefully things can turn around for him. And he, you know, got an 18th place finish. Eric Almirola, once again, running in his positions, got like in like the low 20 position. I forgot which one, but still, Almirola, they gotta fix these things, man. Christopher Bell wrecked with 7 laps to go. He just got loose, made contact, and hit Ricky Stenhouse Jr. pretty hard, and it looked exactly like the way Kyle Busch hit Joey Logano, except that one had more collateral damage. This one just ended Stenhouse's day instead of ending Bell or both of their days. So that really sucks still. And Bell got he didn't get a good finish, so that doesn't matter. Logano. You know, you just have to feel bad for this guy. He flipped at Talladega last week. Food poisoning yesterday morning, and he couldn't be in the Fox booth. But I don't think the Fox booth is a charm anymore. It's more like a curse for Logano. So I wouldn't go back there. But still, Joey Logano, that really sucks for him. And then they started like 29th, and they were running that good earlier. And then they started to have a bit of a decent run towards the end, but then they didn't. They finished 17th, so that still sucks for Logano. Blaney, like I said, got ran to the back by Kyle Larson, and Blaney finished like 21st, so that sucks for them. Bubba Wallace, they were running really good or decent in the beginning, and then they slid up and made contact to the wall, also with Alex Bowman. And then they got like a 26th place finish, so that really sucks for Bubba Wallace. They're really good at starting these races, but finishing them is just a struggle. And like I said, guys, JTG Doherty at Kansas is a curse. You had Ryan Preece with that scary incident last year, and then you had Ricky Stenhouse Jr. finish dead last in that race last year with an electrical problem in the car, and then now you have them, Stenhouse. He spun out. He made contact with Austin Cindric, and then also not only that, but then he. You know, like I said with Christopher Bell, and then the car caught on fire, and he had to get out of there, finished dead last, I think, in this race. And then Ryan Preece was just an innocent bystander, just got hit by Bell, and that really sucked for them. And then the way that they did with the spoiler at the back, that really increased some drag. I also saw someone on Instagram saying that the back of that spoiler, or the back of the car, Ryan Preece had with the damage, that's probably going to be the Gen 7, maybe Gen 8 spoiler. Hopefully not. That would cause a lot of drag. But hey, it'd be an even playing field. But anyway, yeah, these are the drivers who I thought had a bad race and stuff. Now, that's the end of the video, guys. And that's gonna end it here, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. The video I said that I add the playoffs and stuff, like who's above the cut line and stuff, like the standings. I'll do that after the halfway point, so I'll do it I'll do it on the review of the second Pocono race. And also, I'll have a tier list up. Really, I don't know. I'm still deciding if I'm gonna do a tier list of where I'd rank the paint schemes for the Darlington Throwback. If I can't do one about that one on Thursday, then I'll probably just rank them and stuff, like as we go and stuff, and I'll decide like my top 3 at the end. So that's definitely what I'm gonna do and stuff. And then we'll have the Darlington race on Sunday. So yeah, I can't wait for that, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great rest of your day, and until next time, see you guys later. Peace out.